Hello, everyone. My name is Cindy, and you won't believe it when I tell you that my mother has been pregnant for 4 years in a row. How is that even possible, you ask? Well, when you're 11 years old, you can't really understand how pregnancy works. It brought a lot of confusion, not to mention that it almost ruined my life. Until one day, when the secret she was hiding behind her weird pregnancy got revealed. I will explain everything. I promise it will make more sense. You see, my father, mother, and I used to live in a very tiny house. We weren't struggling to find food, but we weren't exactly rich either. Despite all the circumstances, my mother made sure I was okay no matter what. As for my father, well, he decided not to stick around, and he left us when I was only 1 year old, so I barely remember him. It was hard for my mom, but it didn't break her spirit. In fact, she juggled 2 jobs and worked for nearly 14 hours per day to support me. That was until the day she got pregnant. It was pretty random and weird because mom never dated anyone. How could she have a baby on her own, I thought? And that's not all. The craziest part of the story was that she had also quit her 2 jobs out of the blue, and in less than a month, we moved to a different city and in a bigger house. I didn't understand what was going on, and despite my many questions at the time, I never got a clear answer as to what was happening. All I knew was that we were finally able to afford things, just like normal people, except for the fact that I had a mom who was pregnant all the time. Yes, you've heard that correctly. And believe it or not, she came up with an explanation that made perfect sense. Since I was mature enough to understand how relationships worked, we sat down and talked. She asked me if I knew what surrogacy was. I said no. She explained that some people can't have children on their own due to several medical concerns of one or both parents. I found out that not all women can carry a pregnancy to term. Rather than risk complications, surrogacy can be a couple's best option to have a baby. Simply put, my mom borrowed her body for other couples to be able to have children. She was healthy and strong, and she could carry a perfectly healthy pregnancy to term. Hearing that news, I was in shock for a few minutes. Surrogacy, I thought. Wow. My mom was a hero. Helping others have a family is a really big deal. I burst into tears, apologizing for believing she was lying all this time. But I guess I was too young to understand a 4-year-old pregnancy. It turns out being a surrogate mother was perfectly legal, and she had been doing it twice. I had never seen the first baby, but I thought since I was too young at the time, I didn't even notice. Mom had signed up with a surrogacy agency, and that's why she was pregnant all the time, because she was carrying other people's babies. In exchange, she was entitled to a monthly amount of money that would suffice for us to live comfortably. She explained it was worth the effort because she could no longer deal with the stress of a 14-hour workday, not to mention that she barely spent time with me. Finally, it made sense where the money came from. At first, it was difficult for me to accept what mom did for a living. However, you guys can't imagine how relieved I felt that day. Initially, I believed that mom's pregnancy was fake and that she was deceiving everyone only to get free money. Doing that for 4 years is a very serious felony, and she could go to prison if they caught her. But thank God, mom was an honest person. And deep down, I was really proud of what she was doing. But that happiness didn't last much longer, because yes, she was indeed a scammer. Allow me to continue the story. I'm going to tell you in detail how the police caught her red-handed. Years were passing by, and the state of her pregnancy never changed. Okay, I got that. From what she told me, I was too young to give importance to her first pregnancy. Nonetheless, when I really noticed something was off, it was when I turned 15. I was no longer a little girl, and thanks to the internet, I could tell she was lying. Truth be told, I became extremely suspicious of my mom's situation. I strongly believed there was more to her pregnancy than meets the eye, and I was right. But I couldn't figure out an answer, so I decided to take matters into my own hands. Of course, turning my mom to the police was not an option for me. I felt so guilty that I had to do something about it. Her secret was eating me alive, and although I was happy with our new comfortable lifestyle, I felt it didn't belong to us. I went to mom to ask for an explanation on my 15th birthday. When I asked her, "Why are you never sick or tired?" she froze. In case you guys don't know, being pregnant is not an easy job. Women gain a lot of weight during pregnancy. How do I know this? Mom holds a picture of us on her nightstand. I'm a few months old and she's a few pounds heavier, like 30 pounds heavier. Also, I read online that pregnant women must take all sorts of vitamins during pregnancy. Not to mention that when the belly starts to grow, they usually feel sick and tired all the time. My mom was not like that. For the past 4 years, I've never seen her tired. She never took any medicine or scheduled a doctor's appointment to make sure the baby was okay. Weird, right? One day, the baby's parents came by the house to make sure everything was all right. They handed my mom her monthly wage and wanted to make sure the pregnancy evolves according to schedule. She always ensured them that the baby was strong and healthy, but she did that with words only, never with actual documents. I was really upset that mom treated them rather cold, accusing that she was feeling dizzy and weak every time they asked any questions related to the baby. They also wanted to see some baby pictures from the doctors, but she convinced them not to look at them to keep the baby's gender a surprise. They had a brief conversation about the evolution of the pregnancy. She had just entered the 8th month of pregnancy, or at least that's what she told them, and mom assured them that everything was fine and that she was just tired and needed to rest. The moment they left the house, mom was happy again. It didn't make sense. How is it possible to feel dizzy and weak one minute and all happy the next? Anyway, 1 month later, I caught mom drinking wine. Can you believe that? At 9 months pregnant. From what I know, pregnant women are not allowed to drink alcohol as it could severely harm the baby. That was the day I was sure something was fishy with the pregnancy. I mean, no pregnant woman runs around the house feeling all energetic and in the mood to clean everything. Well, that was my mother. Sadly, that inexplicable feeling of happiness she had was because of, let's face it, the money she got every month. But everything was about to fade away for good. One morning, she woke up extremely nervous and anxious. She got dressed quickly and ran out the door without an explanation. I didn't know what to do to stop her, and nothing I said worked. It was like I was invisible. 24 hours later, and no sign of my mom. The situation was getting out of control. I was never, ever left alone in the house for that long. The next day, the parents of mom's baby knocked on the door asking to speak with Tiffany. I was like, Tiffany? Who's that? I told them mom's name was Marie, not Tiffany. Since I recognized them because they visited us last month, I invited them in. I told them mom hadn't been home in 24 hours. The woman started crying, making all kinds of accusations. She said mom hadn't checked with the baby's doctor once. She also mentioned that she refused to show them pictures of the baby many times. And on top of everything, it turns out she lied about her true identity. I was in pure shock. I knew something was wrong, but I didn't imagine she would go so far. The baby's parents decided to call the police, who came by the house to try and find mom, but she was nowhere to be found. They told me to call her and ask for her location. I did that, but her phone seemed out of service. I was crazy worried, but crazy angry at the same time. I didn't want to believe my mom was a scammer. Deep down, I sensed the evolution of her pregnancy was not at all as mentioned on the internet. And let's not forget that she's been doing that for 4 years. All of a sudden, one of the policemen got a phone call saying mom's car was spotted 50 miles away from town at a gas station. Oh my god, I thought. She was gonna leave town and leave me all alone? I didn't want to believe she would leave me now that the truth was out. After trying to make a run for it with the car, the police finally managed to stop her. They had arrested her and brought her to the station. We all went together to see her, me and the desperate couple whom mom had deceived. At the station, mom was in tears, desperately begging for forgiveness from us all. Turns out, she was never pregnant. To put it simply, she had been a fake surrogate mother for the past 4 years. Her master plan was to inform that couple she had miscarried, but she had just entered month 9 of pregnancy. It was too late to do that. I couldn't believe it, and somehow I blamed myself for the entire situation. Why didn't I notice she was lying all this time? But how could I? I was too young to understand how pregnancy works, let alone what surrogacy was. In court, mom tried to make amends by apologizing for her actions. Sadly, what she had done caused a lot of pain and hurt to that couple who desperately wanted a baby. It was their last chance to become parents. And my mother destroyed all of their dreams of having a family. That day, I also found that mom had scammed one more couple who came as witnesses. She was a total mess. And although she admitted she did it for us to live a good life, the path she chose was not the correct one. In the end, she got several years of jail time, and I went to live with my aunt. My mom's story still haunts me, and you can blame me, but I still can't go visit her. I can't forgive her for destroying someone's dream to have a baby. She had caused so much emotional damage to those people and to me, and nothing she said could compensate for the lies she told and the lives she destroyed. Did you guys enjoy my story? If you did, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. Don't forget to like my story and subscribe to my channel. I'd really appreciate it.